Mm. Well done. Great intro.
Very nice.
Very good.
Thank you very much.
That's very professional, sir.
Oh,
Why do
thank
think so
you.
myself?
Thank you. I do my best. What can I say?
Yeah.
But everybody who's watching, thank you very much. Please welcome to the entertainment headquarters and welcome to my Akira Kurosawa Samurai special, dedicated to, in my opinion, one of the greatest directors ever out there. You know, his work has stood the test of time. And for me personally, he's influenced so many of amazing directors from the 80s onwards and currently. So that is why this is dedicated to the man himself, Akira Kurosawa. And to talk about Akira Kurosawa and a number of his films, I have a host of amazing guests. From the Metal Tavern Radio, we have my good friend, Mr. DJ ANUBIS. We have, of course, Mr. Daniel Miller, aka The Professor.
Good evening.
And our good friend, the Mr. Sexual Chocolate, Mr. Jedi Granville from Jedi Granville Productions.
How you doing?
And finally, we have Anthony Jordan of Anthony Jordan's Movies and Gaming. Welcome, my friends.
Pleasure to be here, sir.
Yes. So Akira Kurosawa is an amazing director. But before we get on and talk about him, let's see who's in the chat. So we have, of course, our other good friend. We have Mr. Jake Hall.
Jake.
Hello, Jake.
We have Ulven.
Oh, we know that guy.
No, Olven.
Yes.
He sounds familiar.
Yes. We also have Mr. Big Bad Wolf in the chat.
Hey, Wolfie.
Or some
Yes.
sexual. Very
We have Vance
Vance
Volt.
Okay.
Hello, Vance.
Yes.
Welcome. Thanks for watching. And then we have Kevin Splinter.
Kevin. Yes.
Okay. Who is?
Hello.
Cool dude.
Thank you for watching today.
Mhm.
Oh, look, Neko.
Yeah, Neko's in the house.
Oh, and of course, the Queen herself, DJ
What?
Neko, is in the house.
I like how she has
So-
like a professional headshot.
Right.
It's all business.
Yes. So 9 people watching us tonight, or this afternoon in the good old US of A. As you know, the world right now is in a bit of a dark place, but we're here to just have some fun and talk about something that we're passionate about, and that is, of course, Akira Kurosawa. So, start with Mr. DJ ANUBIS. Can you tell me, like, your first time you were introduced to his filmography, and what did you think of him as a director when you first heard of him?
Well, it's funny because, like, when I went back to watch some of these films, like, I hadn't seen a lot of them. So, but I knew of Akira, obviously, because of Yojimbo. That was one that I was very, very, very familiar with. And, but I always knew also by reputation and the way that Akira shot his films that he did these like epic movies. Like they weren't just like, an hour and 10 minutes, like we'll get in some films, it's like 2-3 hour movies and there's a lot of build up. And then also I'm watching again, like just going back through and like the cinematography is just amazing. I was looking at some of the sets that he had. Like I was like, wow, this is really like a cool attention to detail with like a lot of his sets and stuff like that. So just an amazing director with a good eye for the camera and what he was trying to convey on screen.
Yeah. Daniel Miller.
My first exposure to Akira Kurosawa came out from one of his crime drama films, particularly this one, High and Low. And I'm quite surprised how, considering the time that this was made, what was the 1963? Yeah, 1963. It's very gritty and very dark.
Was it in 3D?
No, unfortunately. But the other movies I have seen in my lifetime were in 3D. But yeah, very gritty, very dark, and as ANUBIS said, just like his samurai movies, very beautifully shot, very expertly framed cinematography-wise. I also became aware of Akira Kurosawa through his collaboration with Ishiro Honda, who we know for the original Godzilla, among others. And upon looking at more of his movies, like Rashomon, that being another one, along with Seven Samurai that I watched today, he is a very, very talented and also a very masterful filmmaker who has gone on to inspire filmmakers all around the world, from Quentin Tarantino and many others. And surprisingly, an interesting bit of trivia about Seven Samurai, it was remade in the West as The Magnificent Seven, which is a cowboy western.
Yeah. Mr. Jedi Granville, your first introduction to Akira Kurosawa, and what have you discovered with his filmography?
It's crazy. Now this is what's so crazy about this. This is way before the internet was even a thing. Going back nearly, I ain't gonna say going back nearly. It's going over 40 years ago. I kind of read about him, but it was by accident when, as Professor mentioned, Mr. Shiro Honda, they were good friends, and I just happened to read about him, touch on base. And my first introduction to even his films, to date was, and I didn't see it until years later, was Ron. I didn't see that until maybe 90, something like that. I think it was 1990, something like that. But the point about it is that he is a director that I was, like I said, I kept hearing it as I got older. This is my late teens. And I didn't really realize how much of an influence this guy really was until I started seeing his films, or at least my first introduction of a film, which was this one right here, Redbeard. When I first saw this one, you know, I mean, like I said, I've heard about Seven Samurai, I've heard about Throne of Blood, The Hidden Fortress, and all. I just didn't watch them until the early 90s. And for the thing is, that was my first choice of his films, which was Redbeard. And it gave me kind of an indication of the masterful way of his storytelling, you know. And I'm just like, wow, this man really knows how to structure a film or just structure stories and show the characters in them and how they're relevant to what we're watching. They're just not just stick out figures. They're just like, they're actually adding on to what the story is. And as you mentioned, someone mentioned before, his capturing of, you know, light and, you know, in color. Well, at least in anything he did was in color. In black and white, especially the film I mentioned, Redbeard, that film is a brilliant example of how you film something that you have, which is in black and white, but at the same time, you're actually able to, you know, capture some great emotions in terms of, you know, the lighting, the shadow, you know, particularly for one particular character. And it's so brilliant how he does this. And like I say, that made me curious about other films he done. And then this is when I started looking at other filmography of his, which we're going to talk about, which is like I say, I saw Ron before, but it didn't really capture my eye because I guess, like I say, I'm looking at a good story and everything. It was this one, Redbeard, that made me really want to watch most of his films, which was like Samurai, you know, Yojimbo and everything. And I just have to say, he is one of those directors. I just wondered to myself, is how is this man, you know, didn't get an Oscar or whatever till his old age? You know, so why didn't you get something before? But I know, like anything, the Oscars are a bunch of political bull. But you know, that's a side.
Yeah.
Well, especially with foreign films, it's always tough.
Yeah. But Anthony Jordan, the same question to you.
Well, I first found out about him when I was a kid. I heard about the movie Seven Samurai, and again, this was before the internet, so it wasn't as easy as doing a Google search and seeing where you can buy or stream the movie. So I didn't get to see it till about summer of 2012 when I think Turner Classic Movies did like this huge like a samurai film special. They showed the Samurai trilogy, which was not Kurosawa. They showed Seven Samurai, which was my introduction to him, and then they showed a few other, but it was Seven Samurai, and I loved it. Like Professor pointed out, it was remade into Magnificent Seven, so you kind of know the movie you're going into with that knowledge, but just the way he filmed the scenes, the shot composition, it was a masterclass in just visual storytelling.
Yes, I agree. My first introduction to him would have been probably in the early 90s, and I think that actually showed Seven Samurai on like Channel 4 late night. It would have been like, because back then for some reason the 90s was big with foreign films coming to the UK, because obviously we've mentioned Godzilla and how they started showcasing those movies during like a creature feature month. And I got to see them all on Channel 4. And the same thing happened with Akira Kurosawa. A number of his movies were also showcased and highlighted on Channel 4. And definitely Seven Samurai. Definitely, you know, those kind of movies were showcased. And they showed the popularity of, you know, and how much these films mean to Toho Studios. As you can see off this image, You have Godzilla on one side of the Toho studio wall, but on the other side of the wall, you actually have
The Seven Samurai.
the Seven Samurai is on the other side, because them are two characters in movies that really not only have changed, the direction of cinema, but they're part of Japanese film culture.
And by extension, pop culture across international cinema as well.
Ironically
Absolutely.
enough, they share an actor.
Absolutely, yes, they
Yes.
do.
Yes.
So I'll talk a little bit about Akira Kurosawa. Akira Kurosawa was born on the 23rd of March 1910. Then he sadly passed away September 6, 1998. He was a Japanese filmmaker who directed 30 feature films in a career spanning 6 decades, with a bold and dynamic style strongly influenced by Western cinema, yet distinct from it. He is widely regarded as one of the greatest and most influential filmmakers in the history of cinema. Known as a hands-on filmmaker, he was heavily involved with all aspects of production as a director, writer, producer, and editor. So, he's definitely, like, you can clearly see as well, if, for example, when you watch for the likes of Star Wars, Star Wars is heavily influenced by Seven Samurai and other productions. In another movie that I noticed is definitely when you mentioned his name, Daniel Miller, Quentin Tarantino. You have the Kill Bill movies. Highly, definitely influenced. And I think you mentioned as well, DJ Anubis, you mentioned the Western movies with Clint Eastwood are definitely influenced by.
Yeah, so
like Fistful of Dollars.
Fistful of Dollars, and you have Bruce Willis in Last Man Standing that's influenced by both those films. So
The Western and the samurai movie are blood relatives.
That's right.
Virtually, yes. So let's get cracking and start the first of the 4 movies we had to review. So since this is one that Daniel Miller knows very well and has watched, let's get cracking and talk about probably his most famous of his films, The Seven Samurai. So let's get cracking. So Seven Samurai is a 1954 Japanese epic samurai action film. You noticed it came out in 1954, the same as Gojira. So isn't that unique? Directed by, of course, Akira Kurosawa, from a screenplay co-written by Shinobi Hasamoto and Hideo Oguchi. Takes place in 1586 in the Sengoku period of Japanese history. It follows the story of a village of desperate farmers who seek to hire samurai to combat bandits who will return after the harvest to steal their crops. So, Daniel Miller, since this is a film you know quite well, I'll let you talk about this film and, the things that, this film has brought to cinemas and so forth, and the plot.
Okay. Right. I'll start off a little bit about the plot, give a bit more of a in-depth thing. So 16th century Japan, a group of armed bandits are about to attack a small village up in the Japanese mountains, to which yes, that is true, Kevin. They almost did bankrupt Toho. Yeah, they're about to attack a village, but the leader holds off the assault, saying they're about to harvest. So once they've actually harvested the crops, that would be the good time to attack. One of the locals overhears this, and they raise the issue with a village elder. And the village elder says that we need to hire samurai warriors and shoguns who fight off the bandits. And everyone, given the reputation that samurai warriors had, they were very anxious and very afraid of them. Especially, they were also fearful of their daughters, because samurai have a particular interest in young women, especially in farming communities at that time. So of
Mhm.
course,
Yeah.
a group of villagers sets out to gather up some samurai and some fighters, which they do gradually throughout the course of the film. And the lead samurai, if I can find, here it is, played by Takashi Shimura. He plays the character Kanbei
Yes.
Shimada, who in the same year would play as Professor Yamane, the lead scientist in Ishiro Honda's Godzilla.
Yeah, can I
Film
add,
Hmm?
if you compare both roles in Godzilla, he comes off as just very weak and frail. But in this movie that came out the same year, he's almost a force of nature.
Yes, that's right. And I also want to say on that note, the choreography in the samurai fight scenes with Takashi and the other actors is brilliantly choreographed, along with the cinematography as well, which was directed by, if I can find the name, here we go, cinematography by Asakazu Nakai. He
Mhm.
was the director of photography on Seven Samurai.
Yeah.
And can I just add something real quick before we go? Do you know when we say Seven Samurai and Gojira came out the same year? Do you know they say that the lead actor, they say that he gave some critic. This is some critics saying this, that he was brilliant in Seven Samurai, but in Gojira he seemed like he said like those people in that picture along with him couldn't act. I was like, what? Really? This is what's known as critics. They don't know their ass from the asshole sometimes. You know, it's like, what are you talking about,
Critics.
dude? Yeah. So I just wanted to throw that out there. It's funny how we see two brilliant films coming out at the same time, and yet you're going to tell me that one is like, I mean, I can say one is better than the other, but I'm not going to say that. You can't say one can't do as good as the other one. Okay, don't say that.
Also, I want to add to like the significance of them like raiding this farming village. The economy of the time in Japan was actually based on rice.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think for me, I think this is. I know he had like a bit of a career, but Toshiro Mifune, this film I think is the one that fully made him a superstar in Japan.
Yeah.
This is the film for me. This is like the equivalent of like Russell Crowe. It was after Russell Crowe did Gladiator that he suddenly became like an A-lister in Hollywood.
And
And
and Mifune was on record as to saying this was his favorite of all his roles because the character was closest to his actual personality.
yeah, yeah.
Did this
And
have did this have like any inspiration to 13 Samurai at all?
I would imagine a little bit. Yeah, I can see that definitely.
Maybe not
But-
exactly by story, but just
Yeah,
in theme.
yeah. I spoke to Linda Miller obviously during the interview that I had with her earlier this year, and she said when she was a young girl in the war, you know, she was in Toho Studios. She said it was just a tiny little hut at the back of the studio, and it was like the canteen area. And Toshiro Mifune walked in, and everyone just went quiet. She said she had the biggest crush on him you could ever imagine. And she also said that the atmosphere just changed because that is the amount of respect that man literally carried with him on set or in the studio. He was like a power player of an actor during his heyday, as you can imagine.
Yeah. And after Seven Samurai, another movie that he would star in, again also featuring samurai, was Sanjiro from 1962.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He also
Yes.
gives a great performance in this movie as well. Another Akira Kurosawa film. Highly recommend.
Yes, definitely.
It's kind of interesting too. Mifune, you know, I gotta say, you know, this shows how much of a talent he really was because he stretched beyond just Japanese or Asian cinema. He would be featured in an American film that was directed by Steven Spielberg, called 1941, where he spoke, in his natural language, but he would speak a little English there too. But that shows how his status was as a performer had gravitated from there to there. It's one of the actions.
The same year this came out, he also starred in the first of the Samurai trilogy, where he played Miyamoto Masashi.
Yeah. So as the plot progresses, as you know, there's this is a very long movie.
Almost 3.5 hours, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, 3 and a bit. Like, I watched this yesterday, and then I watched Ran the day before, and then I watched Seven Samurai, and then today I watched the other 2 movies, The Hidden Fortress and Yojimbo, which we're going to cover as well. And this film, for me, it is a masterpiece. It virtually is like it's like a huge, like, for me, like something like a Macbeth tale, the way it goes on, Shakespeare-ish, like, how, there's so many twists and turns that you get. One of the samurais falls in love with a common woman who, is not meant to, be in love with a samurai because of her status. You have somebody else who has a wife, and there's that scene which was heartbreaking when she runs into the fire. He goes to save her, and, all of that stuff happens. So basically, as you know, the samurai that the hire ends up recruiting 6 of his other friends, and together, along with the villagers, they basically band together to train and fortify the village to take on the bandits when they finally arrive. And then as the plot progresses, there's casualties, there are deaths, and there's, wins and losses. So it's a very strong, powerful story. Anubis, would you say this is a masterpiece?
Well, here's the thing. Like, I didn't get around to rewatching this one. I think I have seen it in the past, so because I do recognize it. So, it's gonna be hard for me to say that it's not a masterpiece because, I'm familiar with Akira on his other work. So, most definitely with the cast, and again, we talked about earlier how his cinematography and everything is just like so sharp, and he's got like a nice attention to detail with the set pieces that it would be hard for you to say that this would not be a masterpiece, especially if it's one of his most notable works that people are familiar with.
What I love about this, it's attention to detail, and you need to think of, like, for example, back in the day. This is before CGI. This is before even Steven Spielberg. He was doing things that they learned to do after him. For example, you've got that one shot which I showcase in, so you've got, like, obviously you've got there's the 7 samurai there together. Yeah. There, of course, there is Mifune at his absolute best.
Acting crazy, insane, but it works for him.
Yes. Yeah. And is this particular shot that I really enjoyed, where you've got the samurais where they're trying to recruit people, and they basically, as he's trying to recruit people, there's this particular shot where these 2 samurai go to duel, and they go towards each other, and then all of a sudden they draw each other's sword and they go to slice each other. Then all of a sudden the other samurai suddenly falls to the ground, but he doesn't just fall and go, bah. There's that slow motion effect that heightens the atmosphere and the tenseness and the tension of that particular scene. And throughout the course of the movie, there's different elements where they continue to do that. They add all these slow motion effects or these camera angles that zoom into people's faces, and it really brings the story alive in this particular film.
Yes.
Yeah. So these are things Spielberg has picked up, and you know what I feel like? That scene with Brody in Jaws where he's sitting at the beach and the camera zooms in.
Yeah.
I feel as if, yes, he created that technique, but I feel he was inspired by things that Akira Kurosawa did in past movies.
I feel that's the thing about that. Well, like really, if you think about it, that's with anything, you know, and like I say, influencers specifically, and like I say, Spielberg, he is one of those. Well, he's just another great director too, because he learns from the best, and then he takes what he learned from them and say, okay, what kind of technique can I use to do that can actually heighten what you're about to watch? So it's not unheard of. And like I say, with Spielberg, you know, Professor mentioned Quentin Tarantino. He was very influenced by Eastern cinema. You know, I mean, he's somebody that really, you see it in some of his films. Hell, his film Pulp Fiction emphasizes certain things in there, and especially when you see Bruce Willis's character bring out a sword. You know, it's like, I mean, you cannot tell me that somewhere along the line that was, you know, influenced from past samurai or Kurosawa films. You know, somewhere along the line he was influenced by this. You know, so it's everything's influenced. One thing leads to another, and where it goes to, we don't really know. But you know, as long as it's done brilliantly.
Yes,
and also the first Kill Bill, at least the final acts, that was definitely a more overt influence from Akira Kurosawa's samurai film on Tarantino, where Beatrix Kiddo is fighting the Crazy 88 in the diner. Even the music itself, you can tell it was very much inspired by the soundtrack of films like Seven Samurai.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and you know, you've got Mifune here, and he became like Akira Kurosawa's #1 actor. He was his most biggest collaborator. And I think if you look at the likes of Hiroyuki Sanada, who is obviously from Shogun, he's on a roll right now with his career. He's in Mortal Kombat. For me, he's like the modern day version of Mifune. And
I have to agree with that. Yes.
You know, like, and obviously he's not just made things in Japan, he's now transcended to America and become a worldwide name. But yeah, Seven Samurai 100% deserves all the credit in the world for being the legendary masterpiece that it is. So with Seven Samurai, what film would you like to talk about next?
Well, it's your show, son. I mean, you have to do what you feel best.
Yes. Well, I'm giving my amazing guest the opportunity.
Okay.
I would like to actually tackle Hidden Fortress. That's one I had not seen prior.
Oh, you never seen it?
Right. So,
let's talk about it.
There we go. The Hidden Fortress. Now, I'm going to be honest. The Hidden Fortress, as much as I love all of Akira Kurosawa movies, this is probably my favorite.
Okay.
There's something about this movie I just love. I love the story. I love the characters. I love the female lead. She is a badass.
Oh, yeah.
She is phenomenal.
I'm assuming it has nothing to do with that this film influenced another particular film in the like. I'm assuming not that. It's just that it's a very well-crafted film, right?
Oh yes, I just really enjoy it. I love the characters. I love the story. I like every other movie's done. I love the cinematography, but the cast alone is great. So, The Hidden Fortress. This film was made in 1958. It is a Japanese epic adventure film directed by Akira Kurosawa. The special effects by Eiji Tsuburaya. Is that right?
Eiji Tsuburaya,
yeah. Who was obviously well diverse within the Gamera franchise, not the Gamera, the Ultraman franchise.
No, that's Daiei. We're talking Toho, homie. No.
Yes.
What are you doing?
All
You're gonna
right.
anger a lot of
Where's your
people by
Toho
doing-
card? Take it away.
Oh God, that was a stab in the heart when you said that, dude. I mean, I'm pretty sure he influenced Gamera Films with the guys who did it at Dai, but oh my God, that was a slap in the face.
Well, someone had to fuck up at some point.
Well, I thought I was going to be the one. Damn, that was wow.
So
Okay.
it tells the story of two peasants who agree to escort a man and a woman across enemy lines in return for gold without knowing that he is a general and the woman is a princess. The film stars Toshiro Mifune as General Makabe and Miss, I can't pronounce her name. Does anyone want to take a shot at it?
I'm not going to try to butcher it. No, thank you.
Yeah. So Miss Yuhara, I'm going to guess, as Princess Yuki, while the peasants Tahi and Matashichi are portrayed by Minoru Chiaki and Kamatori Fujiwara.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong. Someone can tell me. Was this Kurosawa's first widescreen picture by chance? I'm trying to, because I think it is, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it was known as Toho Scope.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I
That
think,
was-
was this his first one? I mean, because I'm thinking it was.
Yeah, The Hidden Fortress was the fourth highest grossing film of the year in Japan and Kurosawa's most successful film up to that point. It was a significant influence on the 1977 American film Star Wars.
Yes.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yes.
Go ahead.
And fun fact: if you watch Star Wars and you get to the scene where Vader chokes one of the officers after he's berating him about getting the rebel plans, if you listen to the dialogue, the officer says, "That sad devotion to yours hasn't recovered the stolen data tapes, nor has it found the location of the rebels' hidden fortress." See, because that's a name, that's a title drop in the dialogue right there.
Oh God, dude, I never even paid attention to that. That's okay. Oh wow, see, that shows how dumb I am. I mean,
On the topic of fun facts, the spear duel Toshiro Mifune has in this one is actually more hysterically accurate to what a duel of that time would have been, as opposed to what we would imagine sword versus sword.
Yeah,
That was probably like one of my only issues in this film is that as cool as that fight was, like I felt like it dragged on a little too long.
Yeah. But since you wanted to tackle this movie, Anubis, give me your thoughts and opinions on The Hidden Forest.
I like the concept. Obviously, the two buffoons at the beginning, they're kind of like these pair of guys that are goofy and aloof, but at the same time, almost loyal to some degree, which we kind of find out towards the end when they're rewarded for that loyalty. But as you said, Misa Yohara, who plays the queen or whatever they address her as, princess. Fantastic job, dude. She was like a very powerful female in this and very stubborn. In fact, I also like to think about this too, because this is one thing I love about Akira. He gets the very most out of his actors. Like her scene where I think it's after her double is killed, she's like crying and like it's just a real emotional moment for her. But obviously she's not afraid to stand up for herself. I like when she's like telling the lead samurai that's guarding her that he's like, he's all like, we should probably have her not say anything at all. She should be a mute, but I don't think she can handle that. She goes, "You won't hear from me for the entire trip." That's like a Neko move. Like, you will not hear from me for an entire trip.
Yes.
You challenge me? Yes. Okay, we got this. Yeah. So, wonderful performance by Misa. And who is the lead samurai defending her? What's the actor's name?
Toshiro Mifune.
Okay,
Yeah.
Maccabi. Okay, he's awesome. I love that actor. He's a great guy in this and a great swordsman. And I love also this is the thing that you kind of forget when you watch some of these films. He's chasing some other samurai, and he doesn't even have like I don't think he even has like a saddle, but he's just got his sword up and he's sitting on top of the horses that's chasing him. And I'm like, dude, I would have fell off a long time ago. That's just an amazing work of horse riding.
Yeah, and even the two actors that play the peasant, the chemistry between them is like this duo. It's perfect. It's perfect. This is why it's my favorite movie, because for me it's got a mixture of everything. It's got a mixture of like kind of this Abbott and Costello partnership with the two presents. Then you've got this badass actor who's so serious and you want him to win, and then you've got this badass, really just amazing female who her character is just outstanding. Like, she is a badass woman. Like, it doesn't feel forced, it feels genuine and real. And the story of these two peasants that stumble across this general who they don't know is a general who's protecting the princess, but they're also trying to get this gold across the border back to their kingdom, and there's the enemies in between. I just think it's an amazing story.
Just the dynamic between the two peasants. 1 second, oh, we got nothing, but if we're gonna die, at least we're gonna die together. Then the next second, that's not yours, give it to me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Even right. They had they were obviously they were pulling a cart with the gold that's hidden within the wood. And then it gets pushed into the fire, and I'm like, "Oh God, this is going to end badly."
There's even the one point where the princess pretty much gives them the order, "Stop fighting."
You're right.
Yeah.
Yes.
But can I just say that? Can I say this real quick? I say the princess. Like I say, when I first saw this, it really didn't have so much. When I say effect, it affected me, but it actually gravitated me to it more because, like I say, I was growing up with just a single parent, which was my mother, and she represented a lot of the strong female types that weren't forced. They had to do this in order to be, show some kind of authority. And seeing this particular actress doing this part is such refreshing because, like, okay, she is a princess, but it's like, I'm not this weakling. I'm not this. It's kind of like what we see in Star Wars, Princess Leia. She has to be saged, but she's still a badass herself. She still gives that kind of authority, you have to do. And that let me know, like, and this is way before the woke syndrome came into play, where female characters were actually robust and they were genuine before it became just wiped out now with all this woke bullshit. So,
that's why I love this movie. This is probably out of all these movies, I don't know why this one just resonates with me the most, because it's got elements of everything I like in a movie. Like I see, it's got comedy with the two peasants, then it's got the badass male hero character, then you've got a strong, confident female that doesn't feel forced, like you said, feels real, it feels genuine, and it just organically just works.
Right. And can I just say that one scene where they're in I think it's like a ditch or a trench over there, and one of the guys say, "Don't push your foot on me," and they say, don't put your face in my, don't put your face in my leg or whatever, something like that. It's like, don't talk about my face. I'm just like, these two panthers, like it's
they bicker like all the time.
Yeah, like they're a couple or something like that.
They would fit in pretty well in this group.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes. 100%.
Yes.
So, Mr. Daniel Miller, have you particularly seen The Hidden Fortress?
I've heard of it, but I haven't actually seen it properly. But I do understand the storyline, also its greater influence on not just A New Hope, but to some degree The Phantom Menace as well.
Yes.
So that's technically 2 Star Wars films that it's influenced.
Well, I've got here, American director George Lucas has acknowledged the heavy influence of The Hidden Fortress on his 1977 film Star Wars, particularly the technique of telling the story from the perspective of the film's loneliest characters, C-3PO and R2-D2.
The bickering
Some of
band.
Yes, the two bickering robot androids, and then they're the representation of the peasants.
But
Yeah.
the thing about that is that even though they're bickering, who's doing the most bitching in that between the two? C-3PO, because he's just like, I've had enough of. I'm just about had enough of you. Go ahead, go that way. You be manufacturing us weak, you some scrap pile. It's like, dude. I mean, he's the one. And the funny thing is, we get the emotion from R2-D2, which is like, you know, those kind of
Well,
things.
that's the funny thing too, right? Because C-3PO, when he's angry at R2, he's always like, "Yeah, it's all right, you go your way." And then when he reunites with, like, R2.
Yes, like it's even stated here that Princess Leia and her like strong, personality of their character is actually inspired by Princess Tahi, who is the princess in the Hidden Fortress. So she basically is the archetype to Princess Leia before Princess Leia even became an idea. So that's brilliant that this film has made such an impact, just like Seven Samurai, and it's obviously inspired one of the greatest franchises and properties in the world within science fiction.
Yeah.
Until it became too woke. Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, and it ties back to a saying that Paul Michael Glaser, a American actor, director, and the writer, has said when he's talking about storytelling with the American filmmaker, an online video. He said, "There are so many stories, original stories, that have been told over and over again, but what makes them unique is the way in which they're told." And this is true with The Hidden Fortress and Star Wars. When you take away what we see visually, the structure is the same, but it's through Akira Kurosawa's filmmaking techniques, which are masterclass in not just visual and thematic storytelling, but also in standard narrative structure as well.
That's a very good. That's a very good point. I mean, I've seen, like I say, because we mentioned Seven Samurai, but I think I think someone's mentioned this, that Seven Samurai is its own thing, but it's actually A Bug's Life is kind of a retelling of that, but it's in animation form.
Yes,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I read that somewhere that this part of the story of Bug's life was also inspired by the Seven Samurai, because it's about the whole story of A Bug's Life. Even though it's a Pixar movie, it's about the ant colony that's trying to protect itself from the grasshoppers that are going to steal their harvest that they've built all year round. So then they go forth and they find these bunch of circus bugs that they think are warriors who aren't warriors. That's the slight difference from the Seven Samurai plot. But now that I've seen Seven Samurai and I've obviously seen A Bug's Life, you can clearly see where the influence lies from that particular film.
Yeah, and this is one of the reasons why I feel it's kind of, I mean, added on to Professor, there's nothing wrong with telling a story. I mean, kind of doing not so much a remake, but a kind of a retelling of something, but doing it in a different kind of fashion. Like with Seven Samurai, but with Hidden Fortress, it's almost influenced Star Wars. That's more, kind of, Eastern kind of mythology, well, not mythology, but historical, telling. Where Star Wars, it's a science fiction narrative, and you feel like this is how you're supposed to tell or say remake something. It's like put it in a different genre instead of just doing it over and over until you regurgitate that shit till it's like, we see what you're trying to do. You're just trying to rehash the same damn thing. Kind of do it in a different style, and I think we might actually, be interested in it, but some people have lost kind of sight of that because they feel like, well, just do it all over again and just do it that way and we'll catch on to it. It's like, no, kind of do a retelling and kind of restructure it where it's like, if it's a drama or it's in science fiction or it's actually, even a horror film, you can do it in horror. It's possible to do that. I mean, try that, it's not so hard to kind of retell a tale without having to do it over again in the same mindset of what it was when it was originally broadcast.
Yeah. So, like I say, it just shows you his reach that he can even, influence freaking Pixar.
Yeah.
And a lot of their stuff they've been bringing out lately has just been nothing but total garbage. So, but anyway, we're on to the next movie. So, what is the next movie you guys would like to talk about? Would you like to talk
Ran? Ran.
Yeah.
Right. So you say Ran. Some people say Ran. I say let's run with Ran.
I ran so far.
There you go. Far away. Yeah, I like that.
So the next movie in the Akira Kurosawa special. So Ran, as you know, was this the last film he made before he sadly passed away?
He made a few more after this film, but this is considered his last best film.
Yeah. He actually said that this was his. He said that's his fate or his best one, as he says.
Yeah. Was this his last samurai film?
Yes.
Yeah. Referred to by The Guardian as Kurosawa's dark retelling of King Lear.
Yes. Yes. I'm about to get there, Mr. Daniel Miller.
He's not trying to.
No,
like way ahead of you.
It's like, don't take over my show, man.
Yeah,
Hands off.
Okay.
Like, know your fucking rule. I'm only joking.
Sorry, I didn't mean to steal your thunder.
Yes, exactly.
So,
if you had any.
As I was about to say, Ran is a 1985 epic historical action drama film directed, co-written and edited by Akira Kurosawa. The plot derives from William Shakespeare's King Lear. Hear that, Daniel? King Lear. And includes segments based on legends of the Daimyo Mori Motoari. I have no idea what the hell that is. The film stars Tatsuya Nakadai as Hidetora, an aging period warlord who decides to abdicate as ruler in favor of his 3 sons. So, Anthony Jordan, since you mentioned it, I'll let you take the lead with this one.
Well, as you mentioned, the plot centers around an aging and, as we quickly find out, maddening ruler who divides his land among his 3 sons. And the one son who's the only one who's brave enough to be honest with his father gets banished for it. And what we see is just a tragedy of bad choices that ultimately destroy this entire family and the bloodline, not just because of the father's madness, but because of their own scheming. And it's just tragically just a beautiful and brutal movie. There's a battle scene in this at the castle where this castle's burning, and it's both beautiful and brutal to watch at the same time, with this haunting score playing throughout it. Like, I love this just for the tragedy it is. Even I'm not going to spoil it, but the final shot that implies that even the only arguably good person in this movie is about to meet a horrible end. It's a hard tale to tell and make it an enjoyable movie, and Kurosawa nailed it out of the park.
I have to agree. It is a tragic movie with a lot of dark elements to it. But the way he succeeds is the storytelling. Just like Seven Samurai, this is a long movie, and you go along the ride with each character, and it gets darker and more tragic. But as always, his cinematography, especially obviously the majority of these movies that we're looking at, are black and white. This movie is in color, and he nailed it with the vibration of color throughout the flow of the movie. From, like you said, the tragedy of the castle burning to on the battlefield, the different color flags and the different armory, and also you've also mentioned, which I think is a huge plus, it has an amazing music score. The music score in this is something I really enjoy. Mr. DJ Anubis, what was your opinion of Ran?
Of the four, this one's probably my least favorite. Just because I kind of feel like it drags a little bit longer than some of the other ones, but it is well shot again. I do like the color in it. Very nice color. I think I talked to you, Kevin, a little bit about, because I was asking a little bit about it. It's like,
Yeah.
There's parts in this film with particular actors, characters like the women. And so I started thinking to myself, wow, this is very eerily similar to Shogun, like the way that
Yes.
one woman is, like her parents are being killed by this other guy and he cares about her. So I was like, oh, this is so similar. But I didn't know if there was like any influence or if this was like a prequel in some weird way to Shogun. Yeah. As the professor there, we're big fans.
Yeah.
So I don't know like what kind of history on this you guys would know, if it has any kind of story or historical ties to what Shogun was, but I just saw some similarities. I thought that was kind of cool, and I like the characters a lot, but it's one of these movies where it's just dragging a little bit too long in spaces that I didn't want it to. I just wanted to see a little bit more. It picks up towards the end, but kind of takes a while to get there for me.
So want to add, since the color keeps getting brought up, some movies I'll actually switch my TV to black and white, and I feel even though their color, they look better in black and white, like the Benicio del Toro Wolfman. But this film, the way it uses color, I could not imagine this film in black and white.
Yeah. Yeah. A great movie. I had to buy this on Blu-ray because that's how much I love it. I don't know if it's available on 4K, but if it comes out on 4K, I will definitely buy it. Mr. Jedi Granville, your overall opinion of Ran?
This film is, I could say, let's just say it, man. I mean, we color keeps coming back into the fold when we discuss this film, and because it's one of the few, because like I say, we mentioned that he did mostly black and white, and this is I think he had color back then, but I mean, he chose to do it in black and white, the films back then. But the colors that he does in his later films are so impactful, and this one is no exception. It really brings out the structure, the surroundings. Like I say, the cinematography is so great in here. And I got to tell you, the moment in this film that I say is the most brutal, that I feel it sticks out of my mind so hard. Because see, I watched this film with my mother, and like I say, we just randomly, and she caught on to the film pretty easily, either than I was. And we're watching it, and it's a moment where one of the female characters, you probably know what I'm talking about. She's like in a very like structural sense of like, I'm here, things are burning down around me. And then this guy comes and just chops her head off, and the blood just sprays across the wall and everything. I'm just like, because I asked my mother when I saw this, it's like, how the hell is her blood just shooting out like a faucet, like a spring and everything? You say, well, when a person is in that mode of, just like really rage or whatever, the blood is circulating so fast that it will do that if someone just blithely cut your fucking head off and it just sprays out like that. But I was just like, damn, that stuck out to me the most from this film.
I did like the one guy that was supposed to go assassinate the queen or the guy's wife. He comes back with a head, but it's like a statue of a fox head. He plays dumb when the mistress is like, "What is this?" He's like, "Oh my god, she's a fox." He was playing dumb. I thought that was so clever.
Fun fact too, that whole now trope of like that massive arterial blood spray. The first film to show that was another Kurosawa film called Sanjuro, and it was a complete accident. The blood was never meant to shoot out like that. But when they filmed it, Kurosawa just thought it was such a striking image, he decided not to reshoot it.
Yeah. And when you talk about the, excessive blood, look at the Kill Bill movies.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, well,
speaking
speaking
of the final
of
act with the Ronin, with the Crazy 88.
Yes.
And it's kind of funny we go back to, like I say, with Tarantino, because this film right here, Lady Snowblood, that was one that influenced him for Kill Bill. And in that film there are moments in there where homegirl is like, she's doing slicing, and like I say, you see blood spraying out with the people that she killed. It's like, and it's been both films, I mean, it's in the first one more, but I mean, it's still there. But that's the influence of how I'm pretty sure that was influenced from Kurosawa to this, to Tarantino. So it's like, it's a common chain, link in the chain that continues on with that, and I feel it's brilliant that they do that, and I was just like, I'm glad that Tarantino was influenced by great cinema like that,
So he likes Lady Snowblood. To be honest, I don't even know if I've seen it.
Well, I mean, it's always a way of getting it, and that's all I can.
So if I get an opportunity to watch it, maybe that would be a part of another month of samurais. Because obviously this was not intended to be the month of the samurai, but for somehow it's become the month of the samurai for me and DJ Anubis. But my overall opinion is I am in somewhat, like, everything I've said that's positive, but the one negative is unlike Seven Samurai, which even though it's nearly 3 hours long, I can watch and never get bored. This movie, it does have pacing issues for me personally. What about you, Daniel Miller? What's your opinion of Ran?
Now, Ran is a movie that I only found out about recently, so I haven't had the chance to see it, so I can't really comment. But after hearing what everyone else is saying, yeah, it sounds great, like a great Kurosawa film, definitely on par with his earlier works like Seven Samurai and Sanjuro. But when you mentioned pacing issues, it's making me think, great movie all around despite pacing issues. So of course this is toward the end of his career, but that's not to say that he's lost his skill or anything. No, it's one of those things that happens, unfortunately, across life when you're doing an art form like filmmaking or crafting. As you get older in things, there will be imperfections, but those imperfections, they add, in my opinion, a great deal to the final outcome of the projects.
You've got two types of directors. You've got the likes of Steven Spielberg, who still makes original movies, still looks for original ideas, or you've got a James Cameron that just pumps out fucking blue aliens on fucking planets.
And that yells at people because they don't like lazy upscaling.
Right.
Yep.
And just to add on to something that's Professor is saying, this is the thing about film telling or storytelling. you can have a film, you know, it could be 90 minutes long. If it drags ass, I guarantee you, you're gonna feel it. It doesn't matter
Yeah.
how long it is. I mean, because I've seen films that were like over 3 hours long, and they didn't feel nothing like a 3 hour film. But that's only
Yeah.
because they have great structure and pacing and what. But yeah, like this film, Ron, it does have a little. I mean, it's shorter than Seven Samurai, but it still has that kind of effect where it's like.
I think the reason it feels like that in place is just because of how dark this film is, and outside of the blind man, like none of these people are good people.
Yes,
That's
yes. They're all corrupt as fuck, basically.
basically.
I did find the one scene hilarious with the fool where he tells him you should just jump and he jumps off the ledge.
Do you not think this could have inspired Game of Thrones with some of their storytelling?
Possibly.
Yeah, it's
Because
not that.
there's a lot of tragedy and twists and turns of family within the world of Game of Thrones, and incest and people committing suicide or murdering family members. There's a lot of twists and turns, so that could be inspired by this particular film, and obviously the tale of King Lear as well.
I mean, because that's the thing about. I mean, let's be honest right now. Let's get this on the table right now. We know not all families are perfect. We know that may be perfectly structured in terms of, you know, some kind of obedience, but we know somewhere deep down there's some shady shit going on behind the tree, and these are blood related individuals. So knowing that in this film, we're showing that you can have offspring, but these offspring could like literally stab you in the back anytime. So it's like, you don't know. No family is perfect. No family is perfect. But we know that as long as you have some loyalty, some kind of whatever, and there's one person that sticks out to say, watch your back. You know, that's the thing about this. And that's why I love about this film here. It's like someone tried to warn his son, one of his sons tried to warn him, but he's like, unfortunately, you know, you see what happens.
Son that he should have just had inherit everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, with that said, mixed reactions with Ran. You know, we're Ran with Ran.
Right.
So, let's talk about the last of the 4 movies we had to discuss.
Yojimbo.
And I think this one is a particular fan favourite.
Yes.
And as you've mentioned, we have to talk about now Yojimbo.
Yes.
So, Yojimbo is a 1961 Japanese samurai film directed by Akira Kurosawa, who also co-wrote the screenplay and was one of the producers. The film stars Toshiro Mifune, Tatsuya Nakadai, Yuko Tsukasa, and I'm not even going to say the rest of those names because it'll sound like I'm pissed. You know, and Yojimbo stands for the bodyguard.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
I actually found that out today. I didn't realize that's what it meant. I thought
Yes.
Yeah.
So, in the film, a Ronin arrives in a small town where competing crime lords fight for supremacy. The 2 bosses each try to hire the newcomer as a bodyguard. Now, this particular film is probably one of Mifune's best roles.
Yes.
Outside of Seven Samurai, and my particular favourite, as we mentioned, The Hidden Forest. So, Mr. Jedi Granville, would you like to take the floor with this one?
I think I will, because this film is one of those films that is very, I mean, we ain't gonna say that the other films weren't inspirational, but this film is super inspirational, particularly for spaghetti westerns, if you want to say, because this film is, like I say, it's funny how this film is so, when I say so simple, but actually it's very extravagant. You know, it's this guy, you know, we feel like maybe he's just somebody who's just trying to get over, but as it turns out, he's structuring this situation very well. Two opposing figures, parties that are just like at each other or just kind of ganging up on this particular area. But in the end, he uses his ability to actually outwit them by turning on each other in some sense, of whereby saying being a bodyguard for either one of them, you know. And you kind of think to yourself, okay, what is your game? I mean, you're trying to what's going on here with this, you know? But it's all structured to say, hey, don't fight them, let them fight each other, you know. And I love how that's working for that. And this is why I say, when I said this influence, particularly A Fistful of Dollars, you know, Mr. What's his name? Sergio Leone, you know, he would be influenced by this film. And this would lead to the, how can I say, the Man with No Face. Was it A Man with No Face?
Man with No Name.
Man with No Name.
That's funny that you've just mentioned that and then this comment dropped.
Yes, it did.
But it would influence those three films. Of course, Fistful of Dollars, A Few Dollars More, and of course the classic, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, you know.
And I do at one point, I would love to review the trilogy at some point, make that another special on the channel, because of course throughout the year I'm doing my regular segments and then obviously trailer reaction reviews, but I'm really enjoying bringing like unique specials to the channel, and obviously that would be another one that I'd like to, you know, take a hit at in the future. But this particular film, I enjoy it. The story itself, like you say, if you've seen the likes of the Dollars trilogy, you know the kind of story, you know, like about the two warlords warring, and then this newcomer that comes to town, who then basically ends up fighting both sides of these warlords, and basically ends up rescuing the town by the film's end.
And don't forget this man. You know, he's a great swordsman. He's a very good swordsman, but he is fallible. You know, he's very fallible. I mean, he does eventually get his ass kicked in one particular scene, but he comes back fighting even better. You know, it's like I say, take out the scum of the earth, as we like to say.
But since you just had the shot with Mifune and Nakadai on the screen, fun fact: Mifune, Kurosawa gave each of them very specific instructions. He told Mifune, "Think of your character as a dog or a wolf," and to Nakadai, he said, "Think of your character as a snake." And keep that in mind the next time you watch this film and watch how their characters move, especially Nakadai. He has almost a very serpent-like movement to him.
Yeah. Now, I'm gonna ask you guys, like, did anybody else, when you see that towering samurai, think of Jaws from James Bond? Because
oh god,
well, I also said when I was watching this, another thing that I feel like it influenced the 2003 Punisher with Thomas Jane, because if you look at how he methodically and strategically got the Saint family to tear itself apart, that's kind of what the character of Sanjuro did in this film with the two warring gangs.
Yes, I definitely can see that. Yeah, 100%.
But I also will say this: you mismentioned this, Anthony. The big tall guy in there. I swear, he actually reminds me not just of him, but he actually reminds me of Non in the two Superman films, the two early Superman films back in '78 and 1980. He kind of reminds me of him for some reason. He sticks out like that. I don't know why, but that's what it kind of reminds me of.
Yeah, and you never know, he could have inspired the Lake from the Addams Family. Who knows?
You never know. See?
Yes. Have you seen this particular film, Daniel Miller?
No, I have not, but I have heard of it through the grapevine.
Okay.
Yes. So, what's your overall opinion of this one, DJ Anubis?
Oh, I love it. Yeah, I love it. Like I said before the other day when we were talking, like I hadn't seen it in a while, so but the minute that I start watching, I'm like immediately picking up Fistful of Dollars and Last Man Standing because Last Man Standing is like one of my favorite films, and it's so heavily influenced by this. So the whole concept, the plot is great. The setups, and even then, like again, we still have Mifune's character where even though he's pitting these two clans against each other, he still manages to get himself in a position where he almost gets killed, like he almost dies because they figure him out, and so it's just so well done, and like I really love it. I even at the time that I saw Last Man Standing, I didn't know at the time that that was even like a remake or a retelling, and so then someone said, "Yeah, well, it's Fistful of Dollars." So they're like, "Oh." So it's based off Fistful. No, someone goes, no, it's based off Yojimbo. So it just kept going back and back.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, well, that's really fucking cool that they did that because that shows you how much impact this film had, just not from a storytelling point of view, but just the cinematography and everything else involved with it. So it's just fantastic.
Yeah, and just like how you had the Dollars trilogy, based on the success of Yojimbo, Kurosawa's next film, Sanjuro, was altered to incorporate the lead character of this film. So it's basically a prequel or a sequel to this. But it does also say the film grossed an estimated 2.5 million worldwide with a budget of 631,000. It was unofficially remade by Sergio Leone as the spaghetti western film A Fistful of Dollars in 1964, leading to a lawsuit by Toho.
That's surprising.
So
it's funny that you mentioned lawsuit because that makes me think of the Hidden Fortress reference in Star Wars when Vader force chokes the officer and says Hidden Fortress. I just imagine that being an inside joke saying, don't say the full title, else we might get sued.
Yeah.
The lawsuit ended in Toho getting the distribution rights for Fistful of Dollars in Japan.
Wow.
So they probably did that so they could earn money that they lost due to the lawsuit and probably for the money that it made worldwide, Fistful of Dollars. But I personally enjoy this movie. It's also got Mifune's character became the model of John Belushi's Samurai Futaba character on Saturday Night Live. Roger Clark cited Yojimbo as an inspiration for his portrayal of Arthur Morgan in Red Dead Redemption 2. So, just like the majority of Akira Kurosawa's work, once again, even to this day, his movies are still inspiring filmmakers and actors around the world. Like I would applaud any young film director who is looking for a masterclass in filmmaking. Don't look at your likes of Michael Bay's and all of that crap. Look into your classical directors like Akira Kurosawa, your Steven Spielbergs,
someone like John Ford.
Yes, you can actually see the difference in some modern filmmakers. Now, if you look at, for example, the director of Nosferatu and The Lighthouse.
Yes.
What's his name again? My mind's went blank.
Robert Edgar?
Robert Edgar.
Yes.
Yeah, you can clearly tell he is inspired by Gothic tales, dark tales. And he's also, if you look at some of his modern cinematography, like you see, we're talking about colours, shades of colour. We talk about, costuming. We talk about angles. And like The Lighthouse is a black and white movie, and I could not watch that movie in colour. It was obviously deliberately made in black and white for a reason. So I hope they never, ever bring out a colour version because it would just suck, in my opinion. But he is a director that is, I see, not me because of Akira Kurosawa, but I could imagine he studied his work for some inspiration into some ways of his filmmaking. The same with Steven Spielberg, things of that nature. But yes, Akira Kurosawa is definitely a director, storyteller, and that's what he was. He wasn't just a film director that wanted to make money to make big flashy films. He wanted to be a storyteller.
Yes.
It's
He's literally, I was going to
Yeah.
say, he's literally somebody that I say
Sure.
influenced like Spielberg, but also Christopher Nolan, who definitely is someone who's a very good storyteller. I mean, yeah, he's done some extraordinary films, but he still does storytelling with character base and showing how everything is affected around it. And Kurosawa is just that individual who influenced a lot of people, you know, who really take that particular storytelling to heart, not to just, you know, say, oh, let's just blow some shit up and that'll be enough. No, I mean, really get to the heart of what the story is about.
Yeah.
Also,
Yeah,
another fun fact with this one, in the beginning when he walks into the town and we see the dog carrying the severed hand,
yeah,
he actually like asked some of the crew, all right, pitch me something to sell that this is the idea that it's a rough town. And like, why most of them didn't come up with bad ideas, he was like, it's good, but that's been done before. And like, after listening to their ideas, like, he came up with the idea of the dog carrying the severed hand.
Oh, that's amazing. So here we are, my friends. We're now going to rank these movies, and everyone has their own particular opinion. So I know you haven't seen them all, Daniel Miller, but the ones out of the list you have seen, how would you rank them and rate them?
Ooh, okay. So excluding high and low, because that's a detective one, not a samurai, I would actually rank them as Seven Samurai at first, followed by Sanjiro, and then followed by Rashomon. They're all very good, great acting from the cast, great direction on Kurosawa's part, beautiful cinematography from not only how they're angled, but also how they're directed in terms of camera movement, whether they be tracking or static shots, and great soundtracks all around.
Yeah. Right. We'll go with Anthony Jordan next.
Okay, I've actually was like, last night I was like, up and like, I thought a good 20-30 minutes on this. Like, this is probably the hardest ranking that like we've ever done on one of these, because it's like they're all masterpieces. So it's like, okay, this is a masterpiece, but is it better than this masterpiece? But do I want to put this masterpiece under these masterpieces? So just kind of on impulse, because like all four of these movies could easily be number one. At number one, Yojimbo, just masterpiece. I enjoyed the character the most. I liked the humor in it, especially the shot where the two gangs are fighting and he's just sitting on the water tower laughing.
You fucking idiot.
What?
Yeah. Seven Samurai. I love the story, the ensemble cast. This film feels really epic, and just the way this uses the firearms in the film, and that you come to fear that sound of the gun because every time you hear it, you know someone's gonna die. Then Ran, which when I got this, I was just captivated from the beginning. It's just this hauntingly beautiful tragedy, just that how one man's insanity destroyed his whole family. And last place, and by no means am I saying it's bad, just one has to be on the bottom, the Hidden Fortress. It's still a great film. I love the comedy in it. I love the drama. All the characters serve their purposes, and it even ends on a humorous note with the two clowns we began with.
Well, you know what I think of that?
I was watching this.
Oh God!
Oh no! Oh,
I was the entire time just watching Kevin said like steam just coming
There
out.
it goes.
In my defense, I said each of these films could easily be number
True.
one.
Yeah.
True.
Yes,
This-
like us. Yes, everyone's entitled to their opinion. It's not right, but they're entitled to. But anyway, Mr. Jedi Granville.
Oh God. Okay. Well, I might be worse than Anthony on this one, but oh God, this dude, this is a really hard one because I mean, Kurosawa is one of those individuals that just stands out. Like okay, let's put it this way: we know where Spielberg is, we know where Nolan is. Kurosawa is like up in the heavens. I can't really put it with these films. Jesus, dude, this is okay. You know what? Let me just say it like this because I feel like this is going to be very controversial when I say this. I will say that it's gonna hurt. It's gonna okay. Yes, it's. I'm about to blow your mind with this one. Okay, I have to say, Yojimbo is like number 4 for me. It's still a good picture. It's not bad. Ron is right on top of that one, whereas Hidden Fortress is number 2, and I have to go with Seven Samurai because as much as that's his older film, I still think that's his masterpiece in terms of cinema, in terms of samurai films and everything. But if I want to be, when I say controversial, if I want to be truly honest, and I'm gonna have to slap you in the face with this, that's not my favorite films of his. And I said before, my favorite of his is this one, which is Redbeard. So that to me shares the fight with Seven Samurai as number 1. So there you go.
Well, that's fine. That's fine. I've never seen Redbeard, so I cannot comment on Redbeard. So here we go, Mr. DJ Anubis.
So at number 4, I have Ran with an 8.5. Then Hidden Fortress, I also have at number 3 at 8.5. Seven Samurai at number 2 at the 9.0. Number 1 is Rec 3. Just kidding. Number 1 is.
I think we're going to have words off camera.
Kevin's going to start looking for a new co-host.
Yes.
Number 1, of course, is Yojimbo, man. It's just perfect. 10 out of 10. It's a fantastic film. It has influenced so much just in terms of everything and the plot and everything else. So I really love that film. So, yeah.
Well, my list is going to be like this. And the one thing is, we can all agree, we all know what we're like in terms of taste in movies, and there's no one here is wrong. That's what I'll say. No one here is wrong because each of his movies deserves high praise, and each of his movies deserves to be in a league of its own. So for me personally, my least favorite, I have to say, is Ran. And I'm going to give that an 8.5 out of 10. Next would probably have to be this one, Yojimbo. And that gets a 9 out of 10.
Okay.
And then, of course, the next one has to be this one. And that gets a 10 out of 10. And then my personal favourite, which I already mentioned earlier, I just absolutely love this, The Hidden Fortress, because for me, it's got everything I love about film. It really, really does. It's got a comedy duo. It's got an amazing lead actor. It's got an amazing female actress who her role and her character literally just feels amazing. Like she was like, you see, Princess Leia was before Princess Leia. She definitely would have had influence on Ellen Ripley and Sarah Connor,
Yes.
all of those. So I see that every time I watch that particular film, and she literally just steals everything that she does.
Yeah.
So here is a question, the final question. Your final thoughts on Akira Kurosawa as an amazing legendary actor. We'll start with DJ Anubis.
Fantastic director, very influential. Probably deserves far more credit than he actually gets. I know he's very well recognized, but sometimes I feel like he does get kind of overlooked. Like we're so busy in the West when we talk about Spielberg and Cameron and all of them that we oftentimes don't look to the East and say this guy was very influential, set to basically trailblazed the way for a lot of the modern directors that we have. And there should be a lot more appreciation for Akira than we have. And I'm glad you actually did this video. It's a great tribute to an amazing director and amazing man as well.
Yes, thank you. But yeah, that's exactly why I did this, because I wanted to give him his flowers, literally for the career he's given me. Daniel Miller.
I think that Akira Kurosawa, as a filmmaker, he is definitely not just a legend in his native Japan, but a legend all around the world. The longevity and inspiration of the films that he has made are undoubtedly his legacy, as much as the skill and artistry that he put into the movies that he created. All of the filmmakers he's influenced, from Spielberg and Sergio Leone, through to Tarantino and Christopher Nolan, the list of filmmakers who in some way owe a debt in terms of their inspiration is astonishing and still continues to grow. I will agree with what Anthony said in terms that because of the attention focused on on the Western side of the world, filmmakers like Kurosawa have been overlooked. And I also want to say that even if you look in film schools or university courses, yes, there has been a lot of mention of Akira Kurosawa, especially in Asian cinema, but they only touch on what they call the tops, like his most known works. Like, for instance, everyone at uni would always think Akira Kurosawa, yeah, that's Seven Samurai. Yep, not everyone. When I mentioned it at university, not everyone knew about High and Low or Sanjuro, because they were like, "Oh, they sound interesting, but I never heard of them. Were they one of Kurosawa's?" So, but yeah, he definitely does deserve a lot more recognition, not just in academic circles, but also within the industry itself, especially from Hollywood circles and even from British filmmaking circles as well.
Yeah.
And for the next generation of filmmakers, I definitely say go out there, find all of Akira Kurosawa's movies and make notes, because he himself is a masterclass in filmmaking, from visual storytelling to narrative storytelling and even to filmmaking aesthetics and directing styles.
Yes, 100% agree with you. Anthony Jordan.
Well, old saying, they don't make them like they used to. He was just a brilliant filmmaker, storyteller, and it's not surprising he had such a visual flair when he was also a painter. This is a man that would often paint his dreams, or if a film would go under budget, over budget, he'd have the attitude of, they got too much in the film now, they're going to have to give me the budget to film it, and he would just paint until he got the budget. He even at one point directed a movie that I really want to see called Dreams, which is an anthology film.
Yeah, I've heard you mention that before.
Yeah.
It's
Each
decent.
film in the anthology is based off of an actual dream he had. He just poured so much of his film, his himself into his films, to where his last film, which is about a teacher, an elderly teacher's last day on the job, and it's just where the people, students, co-workers are just saying their goodbyes to him. That film is very much, it sounds like he knew he didn't have much time left to live, and that film was his farewell to the world, captured forever on celluloid, and there'll never be another like him.
Yeah. I'd like to see Dreams as well. I've heard so much about it, and obviously you've mentioned it a few times, Anthony. So it's definitely something I'm gonna, if I can ever get my hands on, watch. Finally, Mr. Jedi Granville.
Oh, well, know that I'm a film lover, and I love the people who actually make these films, like Robert Wise, like I say, Steven Spielberg, I mentioned John Ford, Ridley Scott, who actually take cinema and actually drive to make a story out of the things that we see and make it at least decent. I'm sorry to say that I can't say James Cameron anymore, because I've lost respect for this man, because when you mentioned that Kurosawa was a hands-on director, that's what James Cameron is, but it's like he's gotten in bed with doing the same stuff over and over again, and they're just like, dude, you created something the first time, do something different instead of just rehashing the same damn thing, but unfortunately we see he's on the blue pill almost for life, so it's like, okay, that's why I can't mention him anymore, as because I can't respect somebody who seems like you feel like you got this power but you lost respect. In my mind, that's how I feel about Kurosawa. I respect this man for taking a chance to do things, and it wasn't always just samurai films. He's actually done just smaller films like Akira, where it's about a man who's worked for so long but never took the time to enjoy life. It's almost, that film's almost like a reflection of mine, and seeing him, he's dying. I mean, hopefully I don't die anytime soon, but you don't get the chance to experience life. You don't get to experience what's around you, and I feel like, and to me, that film could have inspired Joe versus the Volcano, most likely. I don't know. It could have been. But Kurosawa is one of those individuals that I think and doesn't get overlooked, in terms of when we mention it, but think about some of his smaller films and realize that he was a very avid storyteller. He wanted to show, the impact of how human beings are surrounded by others and how they react to one another. And like I say, with all those samurai films, it's just that. See how each individual connects with another one. And like I say, he was very good at that. And knowing that how he shot the films, camera wise and everything, it's a brilliant way of saying, if you go to school, you go to college, or you go anywhere, and you're in a film class and Kurosawa is not mentioned, somebody is truly like robbing these future minds of a great artist. And I feel like he is one of those he was one of the greats.
Well, I'm very proud to be an owner of a lot of his work. I've got the Akira Kurosawa collection. So it's Akira Kurosawa Samurai collection. I also own Ram. There is the Akira Kurosawa Detective Collection, which I'm going to try and get my hands on real soon. But I can't really add to anything more than what you guys have said. Akira Kurosawa, he is a legendary director that has, influenced worldwide. And even to this day, in 2025, he's being talked about by us. And I'm sure there's other young filmmakers and film fans that will discover his work and also talk about his illustrious career. So finally, what's going on with you guys coming to your channels? So, Mr. DJ Anubis, what is coming to your channel this week?
The most pressing stuff is later tonight. I'll be on Silver Screen Savants with some of you guys to do a review of the movie Silence of the Lambs. So we'll be doing on Olvin's channel. And then tomorrow, to continue with like this samurai martial arts type of month in September, I'll be joined by one Kevin Lambert for the Lone Wolf with Dove series that I have going on as we go and record or review Ip Man starring Donnie Yen. So we're doing that little discussion on that. And then Wednesday for Ghouls, that my pick for this week will be a movie called Divinity from 2023.
Yes. Later this week, we are also going to do, we're also going to do Ip Man. We're doing 41 Ronin, I believe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's going to be our Cinematic Synergy. Mr. Daniel Miller, anything coming to your channel in the near future?
In the near future, now at some point, I was toying with the idea of a franchise retrospective, namely on Aliens versus Predator, like how the concept came about, how it transpired from comics, video games, and the figures from Kenner before the movies, and then there's the uncertainty with things like Alien Earth and Predator Killer of Killers, and what's the potential future for that concept now. Now, that's going to be sometime down the line. In the interim, nothing concrete at the moment, but I do plan on uploading something, whether it be a short story recording or even a little video game edited recording. It will just appear on the channel. So do keep an eye out, check the socials, check the channel.
Yeah. Anthony Jordan.
Well, currently in the media, into editing watching and editing for my Montober 2025. I'm doing the Phantasm series right now, and I just finished editing Phantasm 3. I'm also going to be on the Silver Screen Savants, and I had also, as a part of Montober, I had talked to both Mr. DJ Anubis and Mr. Tony of the Dead, and in October we are going to be covering the original Town That Dreaded Sundown as part of my Montober ongoing events as well. So that's pretty much it for me, as well as my Gundam Wing retrospective.
Nice. Mr. Jedi Grand Velle.
Well, what I got coming up is something that, especially at the tail end of this month, where I will be joined with the company of Mr. Daniel Miller, which we're going to be discussing the film Chronos, the 1957 sci-fi film. And we're going to kind of break it down and kind of give a perspective on that, because that's a film I don't think too many people really talk about. But when I discovered it, it's like, this is a film I feel needs to get its, needs to be mentioned a little bit more, because it's very simple, but it's very good in the sense that it's old, it's just old stuff. And come next month, I'm hoping I hope it'll work out this way. I'm going to be talking about Howard the Duck, at the middle of the month. It's the film, not the character, the film itself, the so-called turkey that George Lucas created, and it just didn't go the way it should have. And at that around Halloween, or at least close to Halloween, I'm going to be discussing. Hopefully, I can get someone. Which I thought. Hopefully, I'll have DJ Anubis on there, where we're going to be discussing the 1978 horror psychological Brian De Palma film, The Fury. I don't know if anybody really knows about that film, but it's a very it's a pretty interesting film if you watch it. It's one of those 70s films that really is, you have to really get into it and realize like, oh, I see what they're going with this one. So that's what I got going up on my channel.
Very nice. I don't think I've seen The Fury, so I might have to try and check it out.
Yeah.
As for me in the entertainment headquarters, coming up on the 18th, it's not Samurai, but obviously we're all in the middle of Samurai month. But this is part of my Into the Darkness segment. Me, Mr. DJ Anubis, Mr. Anthony Jordan, and Mr. Tony the Dead will be talking about the Hills Have Eyes franchise. So looking forward to that. Then I believe Sunday the 21st, we are going to be doing a Kaiju Connections, and we are going to be talking about the Magic Serpent, which is a mixture of Kaiju and Samurai. And pretty much that is what I've got coming up. I do at some point, hopefully this week while I'm off, I would like me and DJ Anubis to do 11 Rebels, which is another samurai movie. But I have had so much fun doing this.
Before I forget, it slipped my mind. This Thursday at 8 o'clock, I'm going to be joined by DJ Anubis and Olvin, and we're going to be discussing weapons.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. That'll be a good discussion. If I'm free, I'd like to join that if possible.
Yeah.
Sure, it'll probably be 8 o'clock my time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be late for you. But Kevin might be up late. He's always up late. So.
That's special if you're working.
Yeah, well, I'm off this week, so who knows?
Yeah.
But I've had that much fun doing Samurai Month that I think next year I'm going to do it again.
Cool.
Yeah.
And I've already decided.
There's a lot out there to discuss, so.
We're going to do this.
Okay.
Oh.
Oh, yes, and there's one that we didn't mention, Kurosawa. I think that's what
Kagamusha.
Kagamusha.
Thank you.
Yeah. So for everybody watching, thank you very much for watching. That is what I've got planned for next year's Samurai Month.
Okay.
And so, like I say, everybody, thank you for watching. Thank you to all my amazing guests for making this stream so much fun. Everyone in the comment section, thank you so much for just, joining us and celebrating Akira Kurosawa, an amazing film director. Until next time, keep on enjoying your movies, keep on enjoying all things entertainment, and we'll catch you all.
There we go.
You're not having a stroke there, are you, Anubis?
Yeah. It's my samurai scream.
Yeah, we did see that.
Never seen
I
it.
don't think I've seen that yet.
I was going to say, I don't think I've seen that either. I mean, I know about it, but I've never seen it.
Not seen that one, but maybe it's something we'll review later on down the road. But like I was about to say, thank you for everybody watching. Keep on enjoying your movies, keep on enjoying all things entertainment, and me and my guests will see you again real soon. Take care, everybody.